Hi, my name is Mark, and I want to welcome you to today's Fyrian website training where we're going to be talking about web applications. A web application is something that may or may not be currently embedded in your website depending on the options that you selected when you purchased your site. Basically, what a web application does is it allows you to take a series of data and allow customers or people visiting your website to be able to search through that data. For example, the Builders Association of Metro Flint has a membership directory online. So I can come in here and I can select, okay, I want to see all the members that are builders and click search. And by doing that, I'm searching through their membership database using a web application, and it's going to go ahead and it's going to think for a couple minutes, and then it's going to, once it's finished, go ahead and generate a list of all their different members that are builders here that I can go through and then call to get estimates from. So that's how it works from the public side. Let's take a look at the back end and how we would actually go about adding information or editing information in a web app. Now, what you do to find the web apps is you click on the Modules tab and then click on the Web Apps item. If you don't see that there, then that means that a web application was not included with your original build, but it is an option that can be added later. So if you'd like to add that option to your website, simply contact your Fyrian sales representative and they'll get that set up for you. Once we click on web app items, you're going to see here the web application that was built for our site. So if I go ahead and click on, in this case, support groups for a nonprofit organization, this is going to bring up a list of all the different items in this web application. In this case, they have support groups in different areas throughout the state of Michigan. So if all I need to do is come in here and edit one of them, then all I need to do is just click on the one that I want to edit and it will bring up the information and I can make my changes right there. But let's go ahead and let's say we want to create a new one. We want to add a support group to this list. If I go ahead and click on create new web app item over here in the action box, this little green plus sign here, this is actually going to bring up the form that I need to fill out in order to plug this data into the system. Now, this data can be plugged in manually using this form, which I'm going to show you how to do right now, or you also have the option of importing multiple web app items, and I'll get to that in a minute. But let's say we want to go ahead and add this manually. The item name is going to be the name of the item as it's going to appear in the list. Sometimes the item name will also appear in the results, so you need to take that into consideration. As you go through and fill out this form, these fields down here are going to vary depending on exactly what options were provided to you with the initial build of the web app. But what's always the same is up here. The item name is going to be the name of the particular web app item, so we'll call this sample group. We have a release date and an expiration date, when we want it to go online and when we want it to automatically come offline. If we want this to be online indefinitely, we just leave these alone. Don't bother touching them. We can leave that for January 1st of 9,999, and by that time it'll be somebody else's problem. So just go ahead and leave those alone if you want that to be online indefinitely. If you want to control the weighting or the rank that this particular item appears in the list, you can go ahead and put in a number. Keep in mind, the higher the number, the higher it ranks in the list. So the items at the top of the list have the highest numbers. Items at the bottom of the list have the lowest numbers. One easy way to create a number that's going to continue to grow is to use today's date as a 2-digit month, 2-digit day, 4-digit year. Okay, just like that. No dashes, spaces, just use it as a number. The other thing that you want to make sure that you do is select a template. Now, with your original website build, there were several different section design templates that were supplied to you, and you just need to come down here and select one. Since we're working on the support groups, I'm going to come down here and select the support section template. Once I select that, it's going to say you've changed a template. Would you like to apply it? I'm going to go ahead and click OK, and it's going to think for a minute with this little timer, and then once that disappears, we're good to go. Okay, now as you go through here, your web app is going to be different from this one, but what you do is you just go ahead and you fill out the forms that are supplied to you there. Some of them may be required, others of them not. And then you also have a item content field here. Now this is a content editor just like you see on editing an actual web page on your site. And what this will allow you to do is plug in, paragraph descriptions. You can use it to plug in a Google map, for example, or what have you. So let's say this particular support group meets in, let's say, Birmingham, Michigan. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go to maps.google.com, and let's just type in Birmingham. If I could spell it, that would be a good thing. Birmingham, Michigan. And I'm going to go ahead and over here on the right hand side you'll see this little thing that says link. If I click on that, you'll see that we have some information here, some code. This will allow you to actually embed this Google map on your website. So if I come here and I click on customize and preview embedded map, it'll give me a sample of what it's going to look like on my site, and I see, oh well, this balloon's cut off. I want to move that down a little bit so that you can see that balloon. And let's say I want to zoom in just a touch. We'll zoom in a little bit more. And okay, that looks pretty good. Now you can see we've got all this code down here. I'm just going to highlight that, go copy under edit, and then close that window. I'm going to go ahead and close this window as well. Coming back to the content editor, if I click on the HTML tab down here under the editor, I'm going to go ahead and go edit, paste, and that drops in that Google map code. So if I go back to the design mode, you'll see here we now have that Google map just as we saw it appear on that thing. And then all we have to do then is click save, and that will load that web app into, or that item into the web app. So that's how you manually add data to the system. Now if you want to import multiple web app items, you can do that using a CSV file. It has to be a comma separated file, which you can generate out of Microsoft Excel or most modern database programs. The first thing that you need to do is select which web app you want to import the data to. In this case, this site only has one, which is support groups, so I'm going to select that. And then it's going to ask me to find the file on my computer to upload, and whether it's comma or tab delimited. Comma delimited I've always found to have more success with, so I suggest that you stick with that. You can select whether your first row of data is just column headers, and then it gives you a list of fields, but actually the easier way to deal with that is just simply download the import template file. If you click over here in the action box, you'll see we've got download import template file, and if you were to click that, it would actually download an Excel spreadsheet with all the columns that you need to have for the data to match up to your custom web application. So that way you know exactly which columns and fields you need. And then once you go ahead and you fill all this out, you click next, and it'll guide you the rest of the way through importing that data. So that's how you edit and import data into a web application. Again, my name is Mark, and I want to thank you for joining me today for this Fyrian training session. Be sure to check out the other videos that we have up on YouTube to get the most out of your Fyrian website and learn some tips and tricks on how to use the administrative control panel.